probably if I had one piece of advice to give to young people of, that across the board, it would be just to don't get in debt. The game plays a lot easier if you're a little bit ahead of the game than if you're behind the game. And Ben Franklin said that long ago in better terms, which Charlie can recite. But there's a real difference. I get letters every day from people that are in all kinds of financial trouble, and often it's health related, which is tragic. But very often it relates to debt. I mean, they get behind the game and they're never going to catch up.
Everyone wants to be rich, that's a fact. No one ever dreams of living in the subway or trekking to work with worn-out shoes. But the sad reality is that many people end up like this. And even more so, many people who appear to be doing well are living paycheck to paycheck with no hope of a better life whatsoever. And so this brings the big question: how do you prevent being broke? And how do you come out of poverty? Most financial experts and motivational speakers will tell you that it's all about a mindset. A poor mindset will produce poor results, while a rich mindset will produce bountiful results. People with poor mindsets always find excuses when they fail and quit, but those with rich mindsets will always find a way to make things work. As basic as this sounds, it goes a long way in determining a person's financial success. But is it really the only factor? Is the mindset barrier the reason why most Americans are broke? Statistics have shown that more than 58% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Also, 57% of Americans don't have up to $1,000 of savings to cover an emergency. Now, I know there's inflation and all that, but should the numbers be this low? There may be many factors contributing to this reality. But the fact remains that the main problem lies with individuals, not in the environment or circumstances. You see, it's not all about how much money you make. It's about how you plan and spend the money you do make. A man who earns $10,000 monthly and spends it all before the next payday is poor compared to the man that earns $3,000 a month and manages to save $1,000 each month. Picture this. Let's say you just got yourself a nice car worth $25,000, and you must pay $500 a month to finance the vehicle. This means that you will have to work hard to sacrifice $500 monthly for the car company for the next 6 years. This may not seem like a bad deal if you're working a good job and earning $3,000 or more, but now imagine that you had done something entirely different. Imagine you invested $500 monthly into an index fund with a 10% average return on investment. In around 6 years, you would have about $50,000. That's double the amount of money you would have had if you were financing the car in the previous example, meaning that you could have ended up buying 2 cars if you wanted to. But it gets even more rewarding when you consider the long-term possibilities. If you were to continue investing in the same index fund for the next 10 years, you'd get almost $100,000. And at the end of 30 years, you'd be a millionaire.
If you're a young person and you intend to save a portion of your income over time, I just say just pick out a very broad index, and I would probably use the S&P 500, because I think if you start getting beyond that, you starting to think you should be in small caps this time and large caps that time, or this foreign side. And as soon as you do that, you're in a game you don't know, you're not equipped to play in all candor. That would be my recommendation.
Investment is a game of numbers and patience. Like Warren Buffett would say, if you aren't willing to own a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes. But most people don't have the patience for long-term investment, and some aren't ready to sacrifice part of their money. Many Americans would rather finance a car so that they can drive it right away, rather than patiently save for it. And some people may feel like waiting 30 years to become a millionaire is just too much. And this is where the poor mindset we talked about comes in. These sets of people would rather play the lottery to become an instant millionaire. Ultimately, it doesn't work out, and they lose the little money they had. The truth is, it hurts to hear the sound financial advice that makes you feel guilty, and it hurts more to discipline yourself to follow such advice. You may need a car right now, But then why buy one when you can barely afford it and have no savings or investments to fall back on? Of course, it would be a different ballgame if you have multiple sources of income. But if you don't, then you really should think things through before making big financial decisions like financing a new car. Cars may seem like assets initially, but they're liabilities. This is because their value depreciates over time. I'm not saying you should never buy a new car or even a luxury car. I'm only saying that if you can't afford it without financing, then maybe you shouldn't get it at all. Financing a car that depreciates is like going to a mall and finding an Android phone that's on discount sale for $90. But then you walk up to the cashier and offer to buy it for $150, almost twice the price. Then who would want to buy an item for twice the price? That's exactly what you do when you finance a $25,000 car. You're just losing money because that car in the end is probably worth just $10,000. Of course, you won't realize this at first, but if you do the math, you'd surely come to this realization at the end of your financing period. Now let's be honest, it would take a lot more discipline to invest $500 monthly than it would be to finance a car. In car financing, you know very well that the car company will hunt you down if you fail to pay up. But when it comes to investing, you answer to nobody. It comes down only to you and your self-discipline.
Have we ever made an emotional decision?
No.
No. No. That's in business we're talking about. Yeah. No, you don't want to be a no-emotion person in all of your life, but you definitely want to be a no-emotion person in making an investment or business decision.
This is why most people find it pretty hard to invest. In fact, some people hate it when you talk to them about investing their hard-earned money. These sets of people usually hate the concept of investing due to the risks involved and because it isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. No doubt investment can be risky, and it doesn't always go as planned. You lose money sometimes, you gain sometimes, and sometimes you just scrape by. But still, it's better than being broke. At least by investing, there's a chance you may end up better off than when you started. So why not risk it?
Our system is to swim as competently as we can, and sometimes the tide will be with us and sometimes it will be against us. But by and large, we don't much bother with trying to predict the tides because we plan to play the game for a long time.
Okay, let's say things don't go so well. Perhaps due to inflation and market vulnerabilities, you ended up averaging an 8% ROI yearly instead of the expected 10%. That's still a decent return on investment that can earn you over $86,000 if you invest $500 monthly for 10 years. And even if you were to invest a smaller amount, like $100, you'd still end up with about $18,000. Isn't that much better than being broke? As we mentioned earlier, investment is a game of numbers. So the higher the amount you're willing to risk, the higher the rewards. Remember, we're talking about index funds here, and they're the safest and best for new investors. Even billionaires like Warren Buffett advise people to take advantage of index funds since they offer reduced risk and a diversified portfolio. So if your major fear of investing has been losing money, you don't need to worry about that as index funds are your best bet. Unless you'd rather spend all your income like most Americans and risk going broke and getting into even more debt. By the way, if sacrificing a small part of your monthly income for 30 years to become a millionaire is too much of a hassle, you'd agree that you can get the $1 million milestone much faster if you invested more money. A $1,000 monthly investment would surely get you to that $1 million mark faster. But not many Americans can part with $1,000 every month. There are many expenses like groceries, light bills, water bills, etc. If you're in this category of people who can't afford to sacrifice a major part of their monthly income to make better investment returns, then maybe you should try setting up a business or get a side hustle to make more money. This way, you can channel your extra income into investing while using your salary to meet your basic needs and wants. You can work on your side hustle during your free time. But then again, most people will argue that they value their free time. So sacrificing these precious moments just to make more money isn't worth it. If you feel this way, the only solution is to wake up earlier or spend 1 to 2 hours every night working on your side hustle so that by daybreak you can still go to work and spend your free time as you'd like. However, if you still feel like waking up at night to work on your dreams is not doable or is unhealthy, then perhaps you're not very serious about being financially free. You see, to get real wealth, you need to make a couple of sacrifices. You'd either sacrifice your time or your money, sometimes both. But don't expect it to fall on your lap or manifest out of thin air. If you're unwilling to put in the work, then invest so that your money works for you. If you choose to do neither, you might just end up broke forever. And note, investing is not a way to become a quick millionaire. It takes time and patience to become a successful investor. This is why pro investors like Buffett will always advise you to play the long game. The longer your investment period, the more your chances of hitting millions. If you wish to fast-track your investment journey, you must make more sacrifices. By that, I mean working another job or side hustle to make more money so that you can invest more. And most of all, you'll need more discipline in your spending habits. You see, the major reason why a large percentage of Americans are broke, despite being citizens of the richest country in the world, is spending habits. The financial habits of people in America and other countries like China are very different. In America, a man might earn $10 but will spend $20, thanks to readily available credit cards and loans. In fact, the system encourages this overspending a lot, as shops and establishments even offer things like shop credit cards, financing, buy now pay later offers, and so on. Meanwhile, in China, people earn $10 to spend $5 and to save $5. And you hardly find easy financing or borrowing like you do in America. Most shops won't even sell to you if you don't have money. You see, the entire credit system of America may seem fun and convenient at first, but it becomes a pain when the debts start piling up. Right now, Americans hold a total of $15 trillion in debt, with an average of about $58,000 per U.S. adult. Thanks to this credit system, so many individuals are living a lifestyle that they cannot afford. Meanwhile, what most smart rich people do is live way below their affordable lifestyle. In fact, some of them live just like they're broke so that they can preserve their millions.
Warren lives in the same house he bought for a very modest price, what, in 1950 something?
I bought it in 1958, and you moved into yours about 1960, didn't you?
Yeah, and I paid more.
Now I know that no one wants to live like they're broke, but still, what's the point of living like you're rich when you're actually in huge debt? At best, try to find a middle ground where you can enjoy your money, but not so much that you end up going broke. This is why it's important to stop the habit of buying things through financing or loans. Here's an old wise saying to guide your spending habits. If you can't afford 5, then you shouldn't buy 1. If you can follow this simple rule, you'll find that you always have some extra money regardless of how much you earn. Now, you can invest this money to generate recurring income. If you want to push even further, you can do side hustles to get even more money for investment. Just so you know, the internet has made it easy for anyone in the world to make extra money online. You can do things like affiliate marketing, drop shipping, video content creation on social media like YouTube and Instagram, blogging, digital marketing, and so on. Note that you don't need to actively learn the skills for these side hustles. You can hire freelancers to set up the biz and do the hard labor for you while you focus on your main job. Or you can learn the necessary skills with online training videos or paid online courses. Either way, you have what it takes to build any side income stream of your choice. It's all about you taking action.
Big opportunities in life have to be seized. We don't do very many things, but when we get the chance to do something that's right and big, we've got to do it. And even to do it in a small scale is just as big a mistake almost as not doing.
The majority of people are broke because the majority of people are looking for an easy way to get rich. If you don't want to end up like this set of people, you must do what they're not doing. Spend less, earn more, save, and invest. With time, the results will speak for themselves.